I remember getting the sides, the part that I had to read for, and I had no idea what my character was talking about. I had never seen Battlestar, and I didn't really know very much about it. And I guess I had to come up with whatever backstory I could to make this world make sense. And I remember going into the audition, and I was getting my wisdom teeth pulled like 2 days later, and then I got them done, and I got them infected, and like for like a month, my face looked like a chipmunk, and they needed me for callbacks. And I'm like, I literally cannot speak. And I'm vomiting from the pain because the Percocet is not working because it's infected. And they trusted in me, which, by the way, like I'm so grateful. Thank you. Like, you trusted me from a tape that I was going to be able to deliver.
Apparently a drug-fueled tape.
Can you give us a little more detail?
Which part?
I didn't get that. Well, I heard about it, and I thought, well, why would they want me to audition for it when they can just put a robot and play me a robot? I had no idea anything about Battlestar. I just knew that every time I'd mention it to someone, they'd be like, oh my God, you have to do it, you have to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not familiar with this. But I met with the writers, and I met with the execs, and I met with Jeffrey, our wonderful director, and it was just mind-blowing to me. And I had never even auditioned for something so incredible before in my life, and it was something I did not expect. And as soon as I auditioned, I was like, I need this role now. So I did everything. Everything to get it. Not like that, though. Don't forget.
Wow. How do you follow that? I heard that there was this project, and you know, the people of Battlestar, and I remember Battlestar from the 70s, you know? You know, okay. Dirk Benedict, you know? I was like, well, really? It's still going on? You know? I missed a few episodes. I hope they don't, you know.
Still have.
Yes, well. And I read this character, and it was just had such a nobility to him, you know? He was such a, just a good guy trying to, like, make sense of nonsense in his life, you know? The nonsense of losing your wife and daughter, your you know, connection to the world, really. And I remember going in, and a friend of mine was helping me with the lines, my music buddy, and, you know, to this day he goes, I got you that part, dude. You know, like, yeah, okay. Anyway, it's, you know the guys, right? All right. And I went in, and I remember I saw this other actor whose work I enjoy. And
who was it?
I can't, but it was another actor who looked just like Edward James almost. And I'm like, okay, well, that's, you know, why did I even bother? You know?
What's his name?
I don't know if that would be fair.
It was Eddie, actually.
It was Eddie,
yeah.
Drag, no.
Was it Danny Trio?
No. You're bad. No, but he kind of had similar qualities, high cheekbones, you know, the indigenous kind of combination.
Dabney Coleman.
Close. You're almost dead on. I'll just give you the first initial of his name, A. Actually, that's his first name. A. Martinez.
Oh. A.
And A's been working for years, and I worked on a project with him, and he's just an adorable and a good human being. And I'm like, well, there goes that project. and I say it like that because I walked in, I go, now, do you guys want me, like, how much of Edward James Olmos do you want genetically in this character? Because, hey, you know, he's no slouch in the show. He's such a, you know, an indelible figure. And they said, you know what? We don't want you to feel, you know, constrained by having to imitate at least 50% of his deal. I was ready. I was like, whatever it takes. Hey, you know, and I knew that the fans would appreciate that, but then they said, it's a spiritual quality, basically, you know, and I realize not all parents look and act like their children, you know, and vice versa. So that was liberating, and I got to tell you, it was one of those things where you feel like you were dead on, and I said, well, I'm going to go for this anyway, and I think they saw that I could portray this character, which I'm still working on, and people go, you know, isn't it such a heavy character? It's not yet. I'd like this show to last for many seasons so that the gravity develops.
58. Right?
Do you know what I mean? Because if you play him already at that level, where's there to go? So in the sense, this guy's the dupe of Graystone. You know, the guy who thinks he's getting all this and he's actually being used. And I was just very grateful to have the job, any job in these tough times, but especially a job from Peabody Award-winning writer, director, producers. So I'm grateful.
Eric, were you familiar with the program?
Oh, yeah. I was shooting something in Provo, Utah, and you know when you're working in a location like Provo, Utah, it's tough. And my agent sent me the script, and it was sitting on my dresser in this room on location in Provo, Utah, and I kept meaning to read it, and then one day it was gone, and I said, where'd the script go? And it turns out that the maid had stolen it. Yeah, and someone had paid the maid. Apparently the maid had mentioned this, that she was cleaning an actor's room and had the script, and then it was, and some Battlestar fan paid the maid in Provo, Utah, to steal the script.
Own up now. Where are you?
Give it back. You're out there.
Yeah.
And so
Somebody's got a watermarked copy of Caprica.
it was watermarked, and that's when I thought, geez, wow. I better read this script. And I just thought it was a great script, and so I arranged to sleep with David Icke and Ron Moore.
Separately.
All funny stuff.
Later on at the same time. And Paula, how'd you?
Paula, were you familiar with the show? Had you been aware of it before taking this part?
Yeah. I have been knocked up by both these men.
But those records have been sealed.
Haven't we all? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually initially auditioned for, I don't know if you guys know this, of the role of Sister Clarice.
Yeah.
And Jeff Reiner, in his maybe madness, said, you'd be a great Amanda. Mm-hmm. And I went home, and or someone called me and said that, and I said, no way. So I had to talk myself into it a little bit, because I sort of had this idea in my head, and then I started to read it again with this entirely different sort of outlook on it, and thought that's a great idea. So that's how that worked.